Hi fans, welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. If today is your first time of coming across my channel, please subscribe. I was very shocked today when I saw that our senators in Nigeria are earning 21,500,000 monthly. And I began to ask myself, is it not the same government that said that they could not be able to pay a minimum wage of 250,000? Rather, the government insisted that they can only be able to pay 70,000 naira, which cannot even afford a common bag of rice. Is the one paying these senators 21.5 million naira every blessed month. You can imagine the hunger in the country. Reason why the Nigerians threw to their masses and came out to protest against this government because of the high cost of governance of this government. I was thinking that Tinubu will address it, but no, he didn't. But my question is, what are these senators doing? Who are they representing that they are collecting this huge amount of money? And they are even denying it, that they are not receiving such huge amount of money. Because Obasanjo yesterday, the former president of Nigeria, angrily came out yesterday and addressed the media. And he was bashing at these senators, asking them why they should be paying themselves such huge amount of money. Just watch this video, drop your comment on the comment section.
To have you. Who do we believe here? Is it Senator Kau or the chairman of the RMA-FC? Is it possible that Nigerian senators also earn 1 million naira a month?
And we know of a truth that Senator Kau is saying the truth. There is nobody in Nigeria that does not know that the average senator, that Nigerian senator earns even above the 21 million naira a month, and which is outrageous and which is unacceptable. And that is not even supposed to be so, because the salaries and wages of public servants are fixed by the RAMFAC. So basically what they did and what they are doing, and just as Obasanjo pointed out, is very immoral, is very fraudulent, is very unacceptable. How much does even the US senator receive per annum? $173,000. Converted to naira is far less than what the Nigerian senators collect. And if you look at the US budget and that of Nigeria, $6.9 trillion. What is equivalent to what are the senators collecting with House of Rep? Total National Assembly budget in America is about $3 billion. If you put it, is about 0.0043% of the US budget. If we are to put the same rate to Nigerian budget, the total allocation that should go to Nigerian Senate should not be more than 17 billion naira. But they practically allocated 344 billion naira to themselves, 1.2% of our national budget. That is madness, that is outrageous, that is immoral, that is unacceptable. But of course, this is Nigeria where anything goes. The people will just sit down there, complain, rant, tweet. Why these guys keep on having their way? You saw the way they attacked Obasanjo, the way they abused Obasanjo for asking them to do the right things. It is so because we have refused to do the right thing. All over the world, senators, National Assembly legislators do not take anything more than 0.0043% of national budget. Fact check me. If we are to follow the same practice in the US, percentage of allocation to the National Assembly, to the national budget, the National Assembly of Nigeria should not allocate to themselves anything more than 17 billion naira. But we claim to be borrowing democracy and the president of God for America, but we are not following in the same vein what they are doing there. Basically, what we have here is rascality, is impunity, is deliberate abuse of the process by the same people that are supposed to maintain that process.
All right, so let's talk as well about the importance of the bringing some form of openness to how much is being earned. Former Kaduna Central Senator Shehu Sani had once publicly disclosed that they earned about 13.5 million. I mean, very recently, I think yesterday in a conversation, in an interview, he argued or he agreed with the perspective or the recent perspective of the senator who says they earn up to 21 million, breaking it down into, how much it will cost, the running costs they get, constituency, allowances that they get. So why is it seemingly shrouded in some measure of secrecy? Why is it such a big deal for them to actually come out clear. Should they really be allowed to fix the cost of how much they are earning?
They are getting away with this because of the weak institutions that we have and because of the lack of political will. Practically, among the political elites in Nigeria, what they are in is a party government. You rub my back, I rub your back. The executive rubs the back of the National Assembly. The National Assembly passes everything that they present to them. If we are to run a truly democratic and representative democracy, where the institutions are strengthened, by now the EFCC will go after them. Because what they are doing is illegal. What they are doing is fraudulent. What they are doing is immoral. They have no right. Yes, they have the power of appropriation. That you are the CFO of a company, that you have the power to share, and we all know the truth. There's nobody in Nigeria that does not know that the average senator works home. And of course, you saw what happened last year, December. They allocated to each of them 200 million naira as constituency to go and share rights palliating $57 billion, 57 billion naira. You saw the way they were talking among themselves. Some claim they got 500, some claim they did not get 300. At the end of the day, is it right? Is it the job of the National Assembly to be allocating monies to themselves to go and do rights palliating? All over the world, legislators are supposed to make laws, provide oversight functions over the executive. There is nowhere in the whole wide world in democracy where legislators hijack projects, do contracts, and be in charge of doing rules and other things. It is not done. But that is the kind of caricature that we have established here in Nigeria that is always steeped and dipped in monumental and atrocious corruption, and it's unacceptable.
All right. I want us to also quickly take a look at some of the numbers. I won't go through everything. The RMAF FAC on their website has clarified what the senators are earning. And just to quickly highlight there, they said that first of, I'll come back to, a disclaimer that they put out there. But they said a closer look at the monthly entitlement of senators reveals that each senator collects a monthly salary and allowances of the sum of 1,063,860 naira, consisting of the following: basic salary, which is 168,866 naira, motor vehicle fueling and maintenance allowance 126,650 naira, personal assistant 42,216 naira. I think it's 42 million, it looks like. I'm not quite sure. Okay, but they've listed all these numbers, right? But there's something I want us to highlight in their statement. They said, first of all, I wish to state that the RMAFC does not have constitutional powers to enforce compliance with proper implementation of the remuneration package. This lacuna is, however, being addressed by the National Assembly. Is this in any way some form of defense to what is being earned? Is this maybe excuse enough for us to say that we need to revisit the powers, the constitutional provision for that?
And like I stated earlier, who are those that will amend the laws to ensure that there's a penalty clause, a consequential clause in that law if the National Assembly go against it? It's National Assembly, and I can bet my finger they will not put in those consequential clauses. But we already have existing laws that can tackle that. By the Establishment Act of the EFCC, any government official that misappropriate public funds should be duly prosecuted, should be duly tried, investigation carried out. By law, it is the rank fact that is supposed to fix salaries of public sector officials. It's like there's no difference between National Assembly members and those who work in parastatals and agencies. They are all public employees subject to the laws of the land. If the law has specifically stated that a senator is supposed to receive so amount of money, and they go behind the laws to allocate certain amount, that EFCC has the right to probe it and request for a refund. And that is where laws are respected, where institutions are independent. In the US, you could see the FBI having a breakback with the president. We will not do this, we will do that, and all those stuff. You could see the Federal Reserve Bank chairman saying we won't do this, we won't that. It cannot happen in Nigeria because of the kind of caricature, the kind of mockery we practice here in form of democracy. Even the members of the National Assembly, it's already established that most of them are there just for what they can get. You saw in your earlier clip where a House Committee on Oil Theft is blaming NDDC for oil theft in Nigeria. When was NDDC established? NDDC is almost over 18 years old. When did this oil theft start at the level it is today? Under Obasanjo, were we hearing anything about oil theft? Under Yar'Adua, did we hear anything about oil theft? Even under the much maligned Jonathan and the Ziani government, did we even hear anything about this massive oil theft? We are doing 2.4 million barrels a day. In fact, in October 2010, we did 2.88 million barrels a day, all through the days of October, and we exported 2.43 million barrels. The madness started under Buhari, and the current GMD of NNPC, Melekere, in 2021, told us gleefully that Nigeria loses $1.9 billion worth of crude oil to thievery and inefficiency every month, $22 billion annually. And the man had been there since 2021. He promised us the refineries will work May 2023. It has not worked. National Assembly had not called for a sack. Under normal circumstances, somebody should be held responsible. Rather than sack the man who has failed to do his job, they are blaming NDDC. NDDC is not the Navy. NDDC is not the Army. Even the master that is supposed to be in the know of what happens in our waterways, especially crude oil vessels that comes around. The master is not carried along. You saw the master pointed out. National Assembly is supposed to make a law allowing the master to have access to all those records. They have not done it. But you can see them chasing shadows, blaming NDDC for a criminality that started 8 years ago, 9 years ago, much earlier, much later, after the result of NDDC. So you can see the kind of human beings that we have in the National Assembly. They are scared to do the right thing. Of course, obviously, most of them have been compromised by those who wields the big weight. They cannot even exercise oversight function over the executive arm of government, over the agencies, over the president, in a very saner climb. By now, those in charge of NNPC, the MP, will have been sacked because it's an obvious lapse. If I am the GMD of NNPC, I tell you, in 6 months, I will stop this madness. There is no way. The crude oil that we're talking about here is not sweet. You cannot blame the poor urchins in our data that takes maybe 1,000 barrels to cook in buckets. We are talking about $1.9 billion lost monthly as established and confirmed by the GMD of the NNPC. And they've not taken any measures to ratify the issue. If I am the GMD of NNPC, I tell you of a truth. Within 6 months, this madness will end. But we have refused to bring into books and accounts those who are responsible, and we are busy chasing shadows. We keep on chasing shadows because we do not have men in the National Assembly with the political will, with the sincerity, with the courage, with the utmost integrity to call things by their names and hold on to it.
Senator Ningi was suspended for accusing the National Assembly of slight budget padding here and there, and that case eventually has gone away. So do you think that we should be focused more, the cleanup for the National Assembly's financial books should be focused more on their annual budget and what those funds are used for? The allegations of padding, using 57 billion naira to buy cars for members of the National Assembly, is that where we should be focused on instead of their salaries?
Exactly. I think that should be the focus. Like I explained to you, check the national budget of other presidential democracies, from the US to Singapore, in fact, to every other country. The budget allocation for the operation of the National Assembly of most of these states across the world is 0.043% of national budget. The US budget, 6.9 trillion national budget, total $1 billion. If we are to follow the same scientific and rigorous process, the National Assembly should have had anything more than 17-20 billion naira allocated to them for the whole of the year. You see, the problem we have in Nigeria is that we borrow from the West, but we don't do the way they do it: discipline, honesty, sincerity. By the special grace of God, most of them are former governors. Most of them are people that have occupied politics. You know, if they are sincere and not driven by greed, we on this side are not even supposed to be the ones begging them to do the right things, to stop all this.